So hello, my name is Ali Barati, and for my conflict resolution workshop, I decided to focus on the Muslim community. So first things first, what exactly is Islam? So Islam is a religion that is founded back in the 7th century by a man named Muhammad, and it was revealed that and most of the followers the followers of Islam are considered Muslims, and they are the believers. They believe that God is the only sole creator of the universe. And another thing is that Muslims refer to God as Allah, which is the Arabic term for God. And then Muslims follow a book known as the Holy Quran, which is considered like the sole words of God. And it was revealed to Muhammad by Allah. And after time that the Prophet or Muhammad actually was revealing this information when he passed away, a lot of political tension started to rise, and which caused a split amongst the religious community. So the rise in conflict. So after Muhammad passed away, there were two different groups that took present. There was the Shias and the Sunnis. So the Shias believed that the new leader of Islam should be a man named Ali, who was the son-in-law of Muhammad, and that the leader should be stayed within the family of Muhammad. However, there was another group called the Sunnis who believed that there was a man named Abu Bakr who felt that he should be the one that should keep on. He should continue. He should be the leader of Islam because he had more attainable knowledge, and because of that. But around that time, Sunnis were the majority in the population, and so it caused Abu Bakr to become the new leader. However, because of this massive tension between the two groups, it caused both Abu Bakr and Ali to be murdered. And as you can see, the conflict is still going on today, like in Afghanistan, Iraq, and the Middle East, and Syria. And so here are the two foundations of the Shia and Sunni. As you can see, it's extremely similar. They all believe in Allah. They both follow what Muhammad had to say. They both believe in what the Quran has to say. The only difference is that they have a difference on who would the leaders be, and so because of that, it feels really ignorant to cause like this huge split in the community over something as small and as minor, even though that they follow this the foundations in the same belief. Kind of similar to like Republicans and Democrats. They still pretty much are politics, but because of that, there's so much tension with like liberals and conservatives, and it causes a lot of the times violent outbreaks and all that. And so, why exactly should these two groups unite? Well, because of this conflict, there's been so many people killed in the Middle East and like all these Islamic countries, and since 9/11, even there have been hate crimes, people who aren't Muslim that have been assaulting people within the Muslim community, and that causes a lot of stress and fear within people who are of Muslim descent. And ultimately, it would strengthen the community and make each individual feel accepted, because a lot of Muslims definitely are wary of who they communicate with because of this belief on who should on like what they should on their political views. And so because of that, there's kind of like tension, and there's always kind of like a form of miscommunication, and it causes a lot of conflict. And because of that, there's a lot of relationships destroyed, like amongst family members or friends and all that. And how can we ensure the peace between these two communities? Well, it ultimately comes down to being educated. A lot of these countries are impoverished, and a lot of them, they don't have the knowledge and the education to pretty much see that these two groups are very similar. And I think a lot of that is twisted from people who claim that they have more education, and they're able to manipulate these people into believing something that that isn't correct. And we need to also come together and talk the differences. And ultimately, I think talking the differences and talking the similarities. I think the differences should come first, and then it should come down to the similarities, because I think if we look more into the similarities and pay more emphasis on that, it will basically show that both of these communities have the same beliefs, and that there's no reason to have all this conflict and all this relationships destroyed due to something like this. And we need to realize that there is very similarities on both sides, and it's pretty much at the end of the day the same ideals of Islam, and that we have to accept that there is a diversity in religion, and that diversity opens the door for more conversations. And I think that's a very healthy thing. But I think at the end of the day, we need to respect others in their belief systems and what they actually want to believe. Because if we don't, then that causes people to feel like hostile, and that causes more tension and conflict within the community. And yeah, like I said, respecting each other's ideas and beliefs. And as you can see, here are some references. And lastly, I'd like to go down some key points actually that I found. So according to CNN, the FBI revealed that hate crimes towards the Muslim community have increased since 2015 by 67%, and so that shows that it's been drastically increasing. And because of, for example, this because of this war is continuing going on and all these attacks, it's caused more violent, more outbreak from people who aren't Muslim. And so because of these individuals who show violence or towards other people who don't have their own beliefs, it shows that from other people who aren't Muslim that, you know, Muslims are violent people and that we need to stop them. And I think it's definitely a liability for the people who are good people and who are Muslim. But I think it's because of that we need to stop. And yeah, and since 9/11, these numbers are always drastically increasing, and not only in the US, but also Europe, where there are a lot of people of Middle Eastern descent who are immigrating towards there as well. Another thing is that I like to go down some words from the Quran, actually, and in terms of the Quran, it allows people to have their own sense of belief and to respect them. In the Quran, it mentions that God does not forbid you from being good to those who not fought you in the religion or driven you from your homes, or from being just towards them. God loves those who are just. So pretty much, from my understanding, it's just saying that everyone is going to have their own beliefs regardless of what's right and what's wrong. But at the end of the day, we need to respect that and realize that we are human beings, and that it's beautiful that we have this sense of diversity amongst each other. And then lastly, I'd like to say that the Quran also mentions to accept others who follows other religions as well, aside from Islam. The Quran has mentioned, "We have appointed a law and a practice for every one of you. Had God willed, he would not made you into a single community, but he wanted to test you regarding what has to come. So compete with each other in doing good. Every one of you will return to God, and he will inform you regarding the things about which you deferred." The first I forgot to mention was Surat al-Mutana, and this one that I just mentioned was Surat al-Maida. So Surat al-Maida, the one that I just mentioned, has pretty much the same thing as I said earlier, that the core essence of being a human being is pretty much to have respect for one another and being respectful. It doesn't matter if, you know, you're Muslim, you're Christian, Jewish, atheist, or whatever, but pretty much at the end of the day, realize that we have to be good people and respect each other towards one another. And I think a lot of the times these people who take out their frustration through violence or any other different form that causes, you know, fear and frustration within the community are definitely doing contradicting things. And the end, you can see here my references. And yeah, thank you very much. I hope this was helpful, and yeah.